well, when the power went out, of course everything's cool and everything stayed on for me because I got everything on solar generators and stuff. But the Wi-Fi was out, so the cell phone is out, and I have to watch regular TV instead of. But I watched. Actually, I watched the PBS station, the Explorer channel, and it's interesting with like it goes through different cultures and how to save, you know, resources and things like that. But they had this one commercial, and it's like they got to interject this motherfucking bullshit in everything. It's like, when are we gonna get through with this fucking crap and these goddamn lies? And they talk about. There's a commercial about Ronald Reagan and how great he was, and he had the Berlin Wall torn down and did lots of stuff, and he was very confident in himself and the United States and its citizens and everything. But then they have another commercial and talk about, like, they're you can tell they're rich motherfucking donors and they're Kamala Harris assholes, because the commercial has a picture of Donald Trump with the words guilty by next to him, and then there's a picture of Kamala Harris, and the commercial and doesn't hint at or doesn't say the truth. Look at her economy. Look at her letting all these illegal fuckers in America that are wreaking havoc on our resources. Our tax money is going to them fuckers instead of goddamn American citizens like you and me. I mean, they just had to put that up there. Donald Trump, guilty. You're guilty of motherfucking made up bullshit by the Biden fuckers. So like that shit just pisses me off. Everything else was great and with PB, but in the underlying tones in the background, you can tell they're all rich Kamala faggots. And it really, really bothers me. You interject this motherfucking bullshit, and you're trying to sway everybody towards her. It's like, no, 4 more years of that bitch, there won't be an America anymore. So the economy's already in the crapper. The dollar is like, what, debilitated by 26%. Your dollar is worth 26% less than it was before. Houses, they used to be like $100,000-$200,000. Now they're like $600,000 and shit for a piece of shit. A car, it used to be, you could buy a brand new car for $10,000, $15,000, $20,000. Now you're looking at like $40,000, $50,000 for a fucking car. And those prices, before, as I stated before, 15, 20, 30,000 are for a fucking used car. I mean, that's ridiculous. We cannot go on with this economy, and that bitch and the Joe Biden assholes administration regime, goddamn communist pussies. We cannot survive another 4 years of that shit. And Kamala Harris is vice president. I mean, what a total pick for America. A stolen valor motherfucking pussy got out of going to war because he was a motherfucking pussy. AWOL walls, little asshole. It's like, man. So picture those two. Those two would just totally ruin America. Hell, they're already ruining it. It's like, fuck. Harris comes up with all this bullshit. Well, and blames everything on Donald Trump. Oh yeah, it's his fault because the border's open. And you had almost 4 years to close the motherfucking border, asshole. Where, what have you been doing, you bitch? Absolutely fucking nothing. No policy, nothing. Any policy she has was all stolen from Donald Trump. You know? Let's see. Donald Trump wants to close the border. Now Kamala Harris wants to close the border. Donald Trump wants no taxes on tips. Now Harris wants no taxes on tips. Talk about plagiarism. If I were Donald Trump, I'd beat the shit out of that motherfucking bitch. You know? Don't use my shit, cunt. Use your own goddamn shit. The world is waiting to find out what the fuck you want. What the fuck you're really gonna do. Not the lies and shit. Not the lies, to get in. You know, like Joe Biden, unity. Yeah, he ran on that. Oh yeah, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, and create unity. All he did was fill this world, America, with all these weird fags. You know, they're queer. You know, the strange people, the transgender fuckers in women's sports. Unity, my fucking ass. We're the most divided country, now on the planet now. I mean, other places are living good and fine, emptying their jails, and we're taking their shit. Yeah, so other countries are doing fine, but we're totally divided. We're racism, all kinds of bullshit, where it wasn't before. Everybody got along. Black, white, Spanish, Chinese, whatever. Asian, what the fuck, nobody cared. Now all of a sudden it's brought to the forefront with their bullshit and their racism crap and their white supremacist crap, and they divided us way more. Unity, my ass. Hey, Joe Biden, where the fuck is unity, asshole? You're nothing but a goddamn communist and a goddamn criminal, and so is fucking Harris, and so is Tim Walz. Tampon Tim, little pussy. I'd like to take his stolen valor and make the little pussy actually go to war. There's going to be a really war, and guess what? Yeah, then we'll see who's the stolen valor, little pussy. So, it's like they had to show that. It's like, no. Donald Trump, guilty of what? Of your made up, lying, motherfucking bullshit? You're convicted of a felony under false pretenses. So, in other words, nothing. You're not convicted of anything. That's bullshit. And then Kamala Harris wants to take weapons and fuck up our freedom of speech and our freedom to bear arms. Come to my house, cunt. I'll take my arms and shove them up your fucking ass. You're not getting my weapons. Nah, I gotta protect myself from all these illegal fuckers that are criminal fuckers and weird fuckers. I gotta protect myself from them. So you ain't getting my goddamn guns, bitch. I don't care who the fuck you think you fucking are. You obviously ain't nobody. And every time I hear her laugh and see her on TV, I just turn it off. I can't stand that grating ass voice. And that fucking cackle. It's like cackling Kamala, cackling communist Kamala. It all kinds of goes together. Guilty, my ass. Unity, my ass. Your bullshit policies stolen from Donald Trump, my ass. It's like, come on, when are we gonna be through with this fucking lies and all this shit and all this? Oh yeah, they pretend. That's all they've done. That's how Joe Biden got elected, by pretending unity. Now Kamala Harris is pretending all of Donald Trump's stuff. We know she's full of shit. Just look at her VP pick. The stolen valor pussy who didn't go to war because he's a pussy. Oh, I want to go into politics. No, you want to save your ass, you little pussy. You don't. You ain't worth a shit in politics. You aren't worth a shit in the military, and you're a disgrace to the goddamn American country. We don't need pussies or Kamala Harris, communist bitch. We don't need any of that crap. And we don't need Joe Biden's pussy ass either. All he does is lay on the fucking beach, you know, like a beached fucking white whale. And it makes me laugh. He talks about white supremacy. In case you haven't looked, asshole, you're fucking white. It's your goddamn racist bullshit. We all got along just fine before. Now everything's divided, but we're all coming together in this division because everybody has figured out it's goddamn communist bullshit. You want China to so bad, all the policies and money and everything from them? Go live over there, you fucking cunts and you assholes. What are you doing in America besides fucking it up? You want to be communist? Go to China. We don't need your fucking ass. We don't want your fucking ass. You and your goddamn lies and shit. And spreading all this propaganda bullshit. It's almost like living in the Nazi society. The war, the Nazi war and shit. That's what you guys are. Communist assholes. Nazi motherfuckers. You know, it's like, come on, folks. Let's get with the program. Let's quit all these fucking lies and all this plagiarism and all this bullshit and stealing policies and all this crap and lying to us with the unity and all that. Yeah, right. Yeah, the most division that this planet has ever had, or America has ever had. Like I said, all the other countries are doing fine because they're sending us their crap. You know? They're criminals. They're mental asylum people. We're getting all this shit. And they're getting all our tax money. We've got homeless veterans living on the street. You think America would help them? Fuck no, we're too busy helping these illegal faggots. You know, what's that? What's that? What the fuck is that? You know? Goddamn communist bullshit. That's what that is. And lies. You know, that's all we get from them. And it's just unreal. You just had to put the picture of Trump up there with the word guilty next to it. But you didn't explain anything or you know, put a picture of Kamala's shitty economy or all Kamala's illegal fuckers that she let in or the state of America. So guilty. My ass. Unity. My ass. Kamala's bullshit. My ass. You know, it's like fucking ridiculous. We gotta stop this shit. I mean, you know, it's getting too much to, you know, this is no longer my America. You know, I fought for this country. I did all this shit. And none of it matters anymore because of them fuckers. None of it. So I might as well, you know, if things go really bad, there's several other countries I could go to and still collect my pension and shit and my Social Security and fuck this place. I mean, you know, it's not going to be America anymore. So what the fuck? I ain't going to fight for it. If it's fighting and tearing itself apart, I do it while I'm in New Zealand, you know. Oban, Stewart, New Island, New Zealand, or Scotland, or Saipan, which is a U.S. territory, but they drive on the regular side of the road, the side that I grew up on. They have the U.S. dollar. The only difference over there is you're not allowed to vote. Who the fuck wants to? For this shit? For them to lie and steal the election anyway? What's the fucking point? You know? At least I can live in peace over there and still be an American, you know, or sort of an American in the other countries, but still alive, well, and then my life means something worth a shit. If I stay here, and Harris wins, my life is no longer worth a shit. None of my past, nothing. None of my future, nothing. So what is the fucking point? And with all these lies, she's still losing. I think that's funny. That's the best thing. That's the only thing I have to cling on to. Is Donald Trump winning and kicking that motherfucking lying, stealing bitch and the Biden administration assholes out. That's the only thing I have to cling to. Other than that, I'm gone. Fuck it. Fuck America and her goddamn communist bullshit. Fuck being a goddamn white supremacist and a Nazi. Heil Camel, you motherfucking bitch. You know? I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna bow down. I'm not gonna kiss your goddamn ass, bitch. I'll see your ass in prison for treason. You and many others. Many others. So, you know. And then I can stay here and just think about you in prison and shit. Or with the death penalty and stuff from the military. And then I can I'm comfortable. I'm an American. I can stay an American. Now the tax dollars will go for the Americans, like you and me, instead of this bullshit regime. The Joe Biden, Kamala Harris regime. And then Tim Walz, AWOL Walz, Tampon Tim joined the fucking communist crew. How goddamn wonderful. And all these assassination attempts from assholes, of course, on Donald Trump, I can just about guarantee you, if that happens and you deny us Donald Trump to clean up this world and shit, there is going to be such a civil war and they're going to kill every goddamn asshole Democrat. I guarantee you. That is not a threat. That is a fucking promise. Because the world has had enough of this shit. And your shit. And the Democrat shit. And the Joe Biden shit. And the Harris shit. And the Walz shit. They're going to start killing you fuckers. I'm crippled, but I can't join in. But if I could, I would. Because you cocksuckers are goddamn worthless. You're not Americans. I don't want you here. I want you either out of the country or fucking gone. You know? That's the way I feel about it. And then I can reclaim my America without you fuckers interfering with it. Without all these illegal motherfuckers stealing our tax dollars and interfering with our lives. So that's what I got from the power outage and stuff. Everything works fine, except you don't have Wi-Fi, because that's basically up to somebody else. So in other words, your cell phone doesn't work, nothing works, but everything else does. It does in my end, because everything is powered by solar power. When the regular power cuts off, my power cuts in. You know, so everything stays on. You know, I can still use all my radio equipment, my computer and shit. I just can't go online, but I can still do this, and I can still look at my files and do regular things without having to go online, which is kind of a pain in the ass. But during these circumstances, well, you know, I can kind of understand that shit. I wish there were some way to manufacture my own, like, Wi-Fi hotspotter. I mean, you can't, because if they go out with the cell service and cell towers and Wi-Fi, and I have no control over that. I have control over my lights and my computer, my radio equipment and everything, and my refrigerator, and my regular TV. You just can't watch Roku and shit because there's no Wi-Fi. I still got my fan on and all kinds of stuff, and it really bothers me that there is one thing that I can't control, and it's outside. It's up to Spectrum. You know, as far as Duke Energy or anything like that, well, I can do without that crap. I can still do without water and shit. I can still shower and use my toilet and my sink and do what I gotta do and everything. That's on rainwater collection and stuff like that. And also, like I said, there's like a small amount of water next to me, and I can pump that up, and it's filtered and everything. I can do everything with it except drink it. If you want to drink it, you have to boil it. And boil it, I mean, but like 10 minutes, to make damn good and sure that all the protozoans and all the shit is out of it, and you filter it. So I'm taking care of it in every respect except Wi-Fi. I'm gonna have to figure out how am I gonna do a Wi-Fi hotspot that is controlled by me, and if the power goes out, I can use that. And that's the only thing I have to worry about. Everything else is on. I can use my washer and my dryer. My dryer's 12 volt, the other one, and my washer's on the generator, and I still get water. And I mean, let's see, it only takes like probably 6 or 7 gallons of water to do a load of laundry. And that's a medium to large sized load. So, and everything that's like nylon and shit like that, I can just hang that up to dry. I have a drying rack, and the rest I can just put in my little dryer, and within 45 minutes, 55 minutes, it's totally dry, so I can do everything except the Wi-Fi. I'm gonna have to figure that one out, but I will eventually. There's a few alternatives and stuff, but I don't know. They cost, like you got Starlink and shit like that, and I'll have to check into that, because then you can access Wi-Fi and stuff, through satellite and everything. But from what I've heard, it's expensive as hell monthly. I mean, it's very, very good, but it's expensive. So it's like I'd have to check into that stuff, and that's the first thing I'm gonna do when this crap is all over and everything comes back on. If and whenever the shit's gonna come back on. I haven't had Wi-Fi all day. I mean, we're talking watching regular TV and PBS all day. God damn, I'm going nuts. I want my YouTube and my programs and shit. My ghost hunters and all kinds of stuff, but you can't access any of that without Wi-Fi, and it's been down all day. So, but on the other hand, good news, the storm basically passed us by. It's farther up towards Virginia and stuff now, and instead of here in Waynesville, where I live, in this part of western North Carolina. We're still under, like, not official flood watches and stuff like that, but like, you still have some wind. I mean, 7 miles per hour, 15 miles, that big shit, It was yesterday or last night, it was like, 30, 40 miles an hour, shit like that. But with all the rain, I mean, it's been raining steadily and pretty hard for like, 2 weeks now. So those areas that are prone to flooding might, but there isn't there's official flood warnings for farther up north Virginia and stuff. But for us, it's passed us by. We still got the remnants, but they're really not that bad. And so, it's like, and the storm kind of did, away from western North Carolina and stuff. But like I said, we got the remnants from it. But it's not as bad as it was predicted. It's basically farther up gone from us. We still have the remnants, and we'll probably have those for another day or so. So we still have to watch out for, some high winds and some flooding, maybe. But the official warnings are for Virginia and stuff, and much higher up than us. And so we escaped the other crap, and except our Wi-Fi is out. Don't ask me why, but kind of pisses me off because, like, Spectrum owns everything, basically. And they always have these commercials like Duke Energy, and they always brag that they're the best and they're this and that. But they're the first ones that they go out and they fuck up, I mean, I don't know how many days before I was getting shit in my email about Duke Energy, what to do in case of the storm. And all of it was like, everything's covered. That's all bullshit. I don't need to know that fucking crap. I'm covered. I live in a 2-story building, so the flood water, there's no flood that's going to come up this fucking high. It's like, I don't live by the fucking ocean. I live way far away by the fucking mountains. In the fucking mountains. Like I said, see, to the west of me is over 4,000 feet. To the east of me is over 3,000 feet. And then, southeast, it's 5,000 feet. And where I'm at is 2,750 feet. So I'm right in the middle of all, and that shit just ain't gonna come over in here. Other places it does, but it doesn't seem to come in here. I mean, the storm will blow over and we'll get the remnants, but we've never really gotten the storm or anything that they've predicted and shit. In 9 years that I've been living here, they've had like 4 or 5 scares and shit, and none of them have really happened. We get the remnants. We get rain and wind, big shit. I mean, and we're talking, 7 to 15 mile an hour winds, and 2 weeks worth of rain, and that's really it. It's like, well, that's no big threat, no big shit, We can and do weather the storms. They just make it out because other parts of North Carolina are much lower than us and lower lying and shit, and they're prone to flooding and stuff because they're near the water. There's really no large bodies of water near here. There are streams and shit like that, but not near here. And French Broad is more towards Asheville, which is like 62 miles away. So, the French Broad River from where I am is probably like over 50 miles from me. If that floods, it ain't gonna do shit here because it ain't gonna be able to get over those big 4,000 and 5,000 feet mountains, to where I am. So the only things around here, like I said, they're little streams and brooks, and if they flood over, you'll get wet spots on the road where like water's like 2 or 3 inches deep. Big fucking deal. Just goes a little slower when you go through that. And it's been that way since I've been here, 9 years, and many years before. I used to come up here to Twin Brook Resort when I was a kid. And it's funny because like I was looking at a house over on Wind River, which is over on Moody Farms Road, and I was looking at the house, and it's in a 100-year floodplain. In my whole life, it's never ever flooded there, I mean, it's a little brook. And, you know, it's called Wind River, the subdivision, because it's a little bit windier there because of the rushing water and stuff. But it's just a little stream. If it flooded over, it would take hundreds of gallons to flood that. I mean, 2 weeks worth of rain just ain't going to be enough, you know. 100-year floodplain, and so you had to pay 100-year floodplain insurance, which is an extra $800 a month. The house itself was already $1,800 a month. Now you got to pay $800 a month for flood insurance. And I just said, fuck that. I'll live in my condo. It's like, 2 floors up. So I don't have to worry about no goddamn floods or none of that shit. The biggest thing that I have to worry about, maybe, it like I said, it hasn't happened in the history of this place. Behind me, probably an eighth of a mile, a quarter mile in between there, something like that. On the other side of the highway, there's a big mountain that's probably like, less than 2,000 feet high. A landslide from that, but that's never happened. That's the only threat or the only danger in my area. If that came down, it might bury this whole complex, this whole building. So, but it hasn't happened in my entire lifetime, and I'm in my 60s. I mean, it never happened back then. It never happened when I was a little kid, and it's never happened in the 9 years I've lived here. So, oh well, I'll just put up with the 7 to 15 mile per hour winds and the torrential rain sometimes, and the threat of a storm, which has never happened. And like I said, the only flooding we get is like 2 or 3 inches worth across the road in some spots. You just drive slower. You don't just barrel through the shit. Oh, the speed limit's 45. I'm going to keep doing it. No, slow down to about 30. And just go through the little puddle and shit. And then you can continue your journey. Don't be a dick. I didn't live through the military and what I lived through and my health and shit like that in my 60s to be a dumbass motherfucking dick. I had to be pretty smart. You can too be smart, but you have to use what God gave you, your fucking brain. And your brain should tell you that Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, and Tim Walz suck. Don't vote for the pieces of shit unless you like communism. If you like communism, I would suggest go live in Russia, go live in China, go live in Cuba, go live in Iran. What the fuck? Be one of those commie assholes and get your ass out of America because you ain't American and you ain't worth a shit. So that's what I've learned, and watching PBS. It's funny because on Roku and stuff, you've got commercials, but you a lot of places and stuff, you have the option to skip the commercial, or there's only like 3 or 4 of them, and then that's it. Regular TV, oh no, there's goddamn 5, 10, 15 commercials. It's fucking ridiculous. And the other thing about that is all the programs are all old. Like, let's see, like I said, Michael J. Fox, Family Ties, Fonzie, Happy Days and shit. Just on the channel that does come in on regular TV as well as the cable, like Cozy, you get the old Frasier, stuff like that, shows from the past. They don't have anything modern. Just the commercials, and the commercials are way too much. It's like, good God, I've sat there and counted before. I've counted up to 15 commercials sometimes. I'm like, by the time the 15 commercials are over, I'm an old fuck. I'll forget what the fuck was happening on my program. And it's not like Roku where you could rewind the shit, you know, or pause it. You're stuck with it. And then you just sit there, and then you have to put it together the rest of the show. Oh yeah! Goddamn commercials got in the fucking way. Now I know what's going on. But it's such a pain in the ass, especially for an old fuck like me. I mean, come on. But other than that, it's pretty cool. I mean, you know, it comes in clear, and I get like 23 channels, but it's affected by the wind and stuff and the weather, and it's so sometimes it's spotty, but it does come in. But it almost never fails. You're watching a program and they're saying something or something crucial is happening, and all of a sudden the wind blows and God damn it, I missed what the fuck they were talking about. What the fuck was this is worse than the goddamn commercials. Now I gotta piece together what the fuck is going on. So, but that seems to always happen. Just when you're getting to a crucial part of the show, the wind blows and it's like, God damn it, fucked up the TV reception. And as far as I know of, there is really no antenna where you can like totally get the signal all the time. The weather conditions and everything always fuck with it. Always. I mean, I live down in Florida and you get like, 50 channels, 60 channels. And they all came in perfect and great. But when the weather sucked, well, you're stuck with it. You get those little lines across there and you miss out on shit. And that was at my parents' house when I was younger, and we had like a regular good TV antenna and shit. And it had a rotor on it and the whole works, but it's still affected by the weather. Roku TV isn't. Roku TV is only depends on Wi-Fi. That's it. So the weather can be shit, and as long as you've got Wi-Fi, you got Roku, and it ain't going nowhere, and it ain't gonna blink out or have these little wavy lines or fuck up or in the midst of a storm or in a crucial part of the show. So, but other than that, it's been great. But I gotta check out. There's two options to the Starlink. There's the expensive, and then I gotta check into those because having Wi-Fi is just crucial. I mean, your phone depends on it. I mean, the cell towers, well, a serious storm isn't going to knock them things over. I mean, it's got to be a nuclear war or something. So, but then it's the Wi-Fi to get to the fucking cell tower and make, so your phone works and your computer would work, and once I get that, and I check into that other option for the Starlink, then I can have my Roku TV and my cell phone. Then I've got everything. Everything's covered. All my lights, my fans, my radio equipment, my computer, my fridge. I got water sources, 2 of them. And this rainwater, yeah, wow. I've collected quite a bit. Let's see. It's probably pretty near 200 gallons, 250 gallons now. Just from the last 2 weeks. So, I could have my water shut off and I could go for another month or 2 without using water from the city. It would just be a pain in the ass because then I'd have to take a couple of gallon bucket and dump it in the toilet every time I used it or flushed it. But the shower would work and everything else would work, just that little hassle. But I'd be fine. I could make it. I got everything to make it. Like I said, except Wi-Fi. That I have to figure out and discover and do what I gotta do. And I might even have to break down. I mean, I heard it's expensive. It's like $100 a month or some shit, for Starlink. But it's guaranteed. It's right there. It's your little radar dish goes to a satellite, and then you have Wi-Fi throughout, your country. It's so you pay a premium for it, but that's really not too much for me. I mean, $100 a month is really nothing, but I just hate to spend anything really in this economy and shit because it's like that's why I always keep like $5,000 in one account and $3,000 in the other, just in case, so that my bills and everything are paid. And if they, that the economy and everything goes farther down the crapper, I could still live and survive and pay my bills for the next 3 or 4 months, if I have to, But within that 3 or 4 months, it's another 5. It's going to stay that way because it's going to keep going. And they take that out, and I lose that, and then it comes back in. So unless we don't have a dollar anymore, we won't with Harris and Tim Walz assholes in. So, but other than that, everything's cool and I'm okay. And for Wi-Fi, that's my only problem. And you got to depend on other companies and other sources. And I'm gonna check into Starlink, and there's a few others, and Starlink's options, and then I can control my Wi-Fi too, as I control everything else, and so then I could just make it completely, no matter what, except, like I said, nuclear wars and shit like that. But a threat of a storm, even a storm, or this economy, all this Biden, Harris, Walz shit, I could, still be fine until I got myself out of this place into somewhere else. But I must check into that stuff. And until then, I'm okay. This part of North Carolina seems okay. We're getting the remnants, but we didn't get the real storm. It's farther above where we are, and I pray for the people in Virginia, even though they're mostly Democrat assholes, but still, they're humans. I mean, they got to go through this shit too, even more so than us. I mean, it kind of didn't go on its course. It took a big left turn, and then it kind of zigzagged back, and so it basically passed us by again, like it has always. It's like, so, oh well. But for those other people that have to really deal with the threat and the storm, I sympathize for you and I pray for you. And if you need help, everybody here will band together and do what they can, because this place is eastern Tennessee and western North Carolina just seem to be homey type wonderful people, and they'll help out in a crisis, and they're just that kind of friendly, normal people. I mean, what's mine is yours, and shit like that. And we're all Americans, but we're all in our, like I said, eastern Tennessee, western North Carolina. We're in our little band of people, and but other than that, that's really been what has been going on, and what must stop. Tim Walz, Kamala Harris, Joe Biden, Joe Biden, Ukraine, that must stop. Please bring back Donald Trump and possibly the death penalty for the assholes. Because, like, drug dealers and shit, that's the only way to get them to stop. Because they figure prison time, oh, big shit, you know, yeah, 20 years. Or they'll just lie and get away with it, and, you know, or the Democrats will step in and let them go, you know. But if they were only offered the death penalty, you can make one appeal. If it doesn't work and it doesn't prove your innocence, you're gone, motherfucker. You got a choice. Hanging or firing squad. Which one do you want? Or we can go with lethal injection. You know, it's like that's the only way to stop those people. And if they know that if they get caught doing this shit, they are going to 100% get the death penalty. They'll weigh the options. They'll think twice. They'll think 10 times. They'll think 100 times before they fuck up and do that drug shit again and sell that goddamn shit. It's like, if you look, let's see, there's thousands of dealers. Each one of them is responsible for about 300 to 500 people's deaths a year. That's a lot of deaths when you add those thousands of dealers with the 500s that they kill. That's a lot. So the death penalty doesn't seem that bad. I mean, it's cruel and inhumane punishment, but it's necessary. Because if the real criminals and the drug dealers and the people that harm other people and shit like that, and felons, and, you know, they're a danger to society, instead of removing them into a jail or a prison and you have to pay taxes for them little fuckers, I mean, we're already wasting our tax money and you're wasting it on them too? Fuck that shit. Give those asshole druggies or criminals or dealers or weapon people or dangerous, give them the death penalty. Then we don't have to pay taxes for the little fuckers. And the world, America, and the world is safer. So there are two ways to look at it. And the other way, my way, and the way that everybody wants, the death penalty, is the only way. It's the only logical answer. You know, it's a terrible thing to do to somebody, but then again, what they do to other people and lots of other people, consider us even, motherfucker. I want you scared to death, scared shitless. I want you to think 100 times before you fuck up and kill people with your shit, your goddamn crime, your dangerous weapons, your assholeness. Bring back Donald Trump and possibly the death penalty for all those assholes. And for the Biden administration and Harris and Walz and all the other Pelosi's and let's see, Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama. Yeah, treason to America, death by hanging or firing squad from the military. I can't wait to see that. I hope that happens. And remember, if you assassinate Donald Trump, I'm almost guaranteeing you there will be serious consequences that you don't like. And the walls around your house and your security and everything else and Secret Service ain't got shit on mad fucking Americans. You'll fucking find out real soon. So stop trying to assassinate the president that we all really want and need.